So I am unashamedly biased when it comes to Screaming Swings. They are without a doubt the most thrilling and perfectly fitting attractions for any park who wants to make a mark on the theme park landscape. So of course, Farmington was going to get one. The question is though, what's different about this one compared to Fantastica? Hello you guys, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Farmington Fields. Thank you as always for coming along for the ride. We are turning a farm into a theme park, and this is where we are at right now. The theme park is starting to enter its adult era. It's grown up from the farm that it once was, and it's now starting to stand on its own 2 feet as a pretty massive theme park. Remember, we're building this in time, not through time, meaning that we've got a 2025 lens on everything rather than building it through a period of time like the Royale Myle was. This is what we did in the last episode then, our brand shiny new entrance, and I love it. Like, yes. Ah, yes. So that's the admin sorted. Should we talk about what we are doing in this episode? Because I have been off camera, nothing built, so there's nothing to show you, but I have been watching the park and thinking to myself, how is the guest flow? What's the guest retention like? And what attractions are earmarked for removal? So let me talk you through some of the contenders based on there being zero queue for stuff, or very little queue, and that's because the game actually does the whole thing quite well. Now, the first one is actually the log flume. The log flume does not get much of a queue. It gets quite a good ridership, but it doesn't get much of a queue. So you could say it's on the kill list. It's not going anywhere. I spent too long doing it. Then we've got this area here. This whole area, in fact, is, it's looking a bit lackluster now. This is probably one of the last areas. Well, in fact, it was the last area to put in as the farm, and it's probably one of the last areas to be redeveloped as well. However, we do have 3 rides here that would be absolutely ripe for removal. So at some point, we're probably going to need to address that. We definitely cannot turn our attentions to the rapids. Look at the queue this is getting, and it's been in long enough for the game to now think the ride is old. So, yeah, that's one thing. This little bit down here, well, this coaster at one point was pretty buzzing. This coaster now, yeah. So I think at some point I need to make a thing of this area. However, the reason why I'm waffling my way through it is because this is the next episode. I don't know what theme it's going to be. It's going to be a Eurofighter. So guys, in the comments, please let me know. If you were a Eurofighter, what theme would you be? There you go. However, this is where we are turning our attentions to. This little bad boy here. This little go-karts. It's been in ever since the park was a farm park. It's still wearing its old Wild West stuff. I think it's time. Be gone. So it's gone. That's it. I've made the decision. What's going to replace it though? Let's talk through our options, shall we? Because we've got a couple of valid options. We're going to want a big thrill ride. We're going to want something that was sort of groundbreaking in the late 2000s, early 2010s. Leaves us with a couple of contenders. We could use the Insanity. It's a bit small for the area. We've got quite a big plot of land. I don't just want to replace it with a real small thing. We do also have some other big stuff as well, right? So we've now got Gale Force that was in. Again, it's a fairly big old footprint, but it's also quite small, and the throughput is a bit trash as well, so probably not. Other rides that we've already got in the park, we could move the Enterprise here. I'm not going to. That's not this kind of episode. We could also put in the 360 power. I don't know what's it called in. 360 power. There you go. We could put this one in. This is probably ripe for this area. It's kind of thrilling enough, and it would be permanent. But I think there's one that I think I definitely want to do, and it's definitely this little bad boy. So I'm thinking that position-wise, we need to come into sort of this kind of space. Hang on, because there we go, into that kind of space. Because what I do want to do in the future is to bring a path. Let me get me trusty gravel. Is bring a path around this way, and then match it up to an eventual path that's going to go around the lake and then around this way. So that's my thought process. Let me go and make this make sense, and I will see you in a minute. There we go. So nothing screams 2009, 2010 like a screaming swing. Yes, scream, scream, scream. So it's a simple affair. In fact, the queue line itself is a relatively simple thing. It's just going to do a slight cattle pen here, come round, out and back, into another cattle pen, out and back, another cattle pen, and then back into the actual ride area itself. Plenty of opportunities for the park to close off these bits of the queue when it's not actually needed. And it's also going to sit quite nicely on the sight line in between these two buildings as you're walking down this way. So that's exactly how I want it to be. I'm going to bring a path around this way, and I'm going to deliberately place the path, but I'll talk about that later, because I think I also want to start the process of putting the path around the lake as well, because I've done a Screaming Swing episode before as a singular small episode, so I don't want to just rinse and repeat what we did in Fantastica. But I'm going to go off and do this anyway. I'll see you in a minute. So there's definitely something about this that kind of gives off, I don't know. Like, it fits. And it fits perfectly. And it feels like it has always been here. I think it's another example of less is more. You know, keep it simple, stupid. And the view from down here, it's almost screenshot worthy. I am loving it. Like, it's come together so nicely. There's quite a bit to show you, even though it feels very familiar. So, yeah, late 2000s called, or sort of like 2010s. They are starting to really get technologically advanced. I was pulling all of this together. I didn't really know how these blocks and stuff were going to happen. Like, I was putting down the perimeter fence, and then these blocks came about. Very inspired by Rush at Thorpe Park, let's be honest. And it wasn't until I started to put these stone statues around, and then these little gems, I was like, actually, yeah, this is a continuation of the sorcery theme that we've got in the entire area. So, of course, that would make sense. And it wouldn't be heavily themed. It would be very loosely themed around this whole area. A little bit like Rush is, actually. Like, that's not heavily themed. It's just inspired by the area that it's in, right? So that's kind of what I was going for. And this entrance plaza actually makes sense. I dig it. I really, really like it. This perimeter fence here, by the way, it was needed. Originally, I didn't have it, and you could walk up to this, but the clearance is a little bit too extreme, so I ended up putting the don't die fencing around this way, and I think it actually made all of the difference, because now you've got a defined entrance in this area, and you've also got reasons to have signs and stuff up, and the don't die signs, or the don't enter signs. And we use laurel me when I'm designing, we use these laurel bushes quite a bit as natural barriers, and again, I think it works. I think it just fits. You can almost imagine the laurel bushes moving as the ride is going past and stuff, and then loads of floodlighting. This area would be really, really floodlit, because this is quite a dangerous area to be in. But like, from down here, it fits, right? It sits amazingly, and I mean, Frontier have done an amazing job at the asset for this anyway. Let's be honest with this. So, queue line. Let's talk about the queue line, because I love it. You will recognise the fences. You'll absolutely recognise the fences. I'm using them pretty much everywhere. They're going to be my standard go-to fences. Like, parks will always have a generic standard design that they will use around their fence areas and stuff. And that's exactly what I'm going for here. This idea of the perimeter fence here, and then this inside one with the beams. Absolutely perfect for what I'm trying to achieve. These blocks, by the way, they do have some pretty serious like weight to them. I didn't really think that they were that much, and it actually gives a little bit of impending danger and stuff to it. I think the queue line, by the way, by my calculations, could probably hold 2 hours. Maybe 2.5 hours worth of people, but I love it. I've started to dapple around in this area, by the way, with some foliage. The periwinkle stuff is amazing for bloated foliage, as I like to call it. It's the stuff that just fills an area. You can hide the bases of trees with it, and it just like grows in patches, and it grows really sporadically elsewhere. So that's what I've done, and everyone knows I love a good rhododendron. So there we go. The rhodos are in, and yeah, I think it all makes sense. Then the gems and stuff just make it come to life with the theme. You know, again, loosely themed. There's the wraiths and stuff that are around there. And then it just sort of wraps around it this way, and then into this cattle pen. I think, if I'm honest, this is probably going to be the main queue. It's going to be this bit that's always going to be open. They would probably shut it off here. By the way, I don't do chains because over here in the UK, most of our parks, Merlin specifically, will actually use these as gates. So this would actually be a gate rather than chains. So if they wanted to fence this off, these two would actually move, and one would go into this position, one would go into this position, and then the queue would come around this way. So that's why I don't use chains, because most of my stuff is imaginary headcanon to be gates instead of chains. So yeah, then we come around this way, and again, you've just got all of the theme and stuff that's just looking pretty decent. You've also got the rest of the area that you can see as well, so you can see all of the flying theatre building, and then from various parts of the queue you can see the raid. So the Intamin, isn't it? Intamin? Yes, it is. The coaster, the raid coaster in the background. So like you've got interaction with the entire area. But this is the bit that I have never actually tried to do, because I've never really liked the queue setup and stuff, and because we can't put the entrance on the side here, you can only put them at the front and the back. You kind of snooker yourself a little bit with design. And what I was thinking was like, well, how does Thorpe Park do it in terms of dispatching and stuff? And of course, as we know, they put it on the side, and you've got one for either side, right? So you have these rows would be this side, and then these back rows would be this side, and then you batch in and that way. So I actually wanted to do something like that here. So you've got space for 10 people, that's 10 per row, and I've actually put the batching in. So I've just put these metal fences and stuff in. Of course, they're not usable, they're never going to be usable, but they just need to be plausibly believable, particularly if you're going to have the park empty. You could just believe that it's there. And luckily for us, we've got the same texture of the path and the queue, so it's actually quite easy to sort of hide it and make believe. And then of course these would be the air gates that would let guests in, and then you would filter them down. So rather than doing rows for each side, I've done arms instead. So this would be for this right arm, the other left, and then this would be for the left arm, these two here. So yeah, I like it. And then I've also got the fencing and stuff up. This would be, again, it's a bad place to have the queue stopped stationary because of the collision risk and falling risk and whatever, but it makes sense here. I have put the extra protections up, so you've got the netting and stuff to catch people if they fall out, as people say in the queue line of rush, and it's like, no, that's not how that works, but okay, you carry on. And then you've got the two lines this way. It's a shame we can't make it work, but I mean, it is what it is. I've never done this before. I think I probably should do it in the future for other screaming swings. So there you go. That's how it's sitting right there. As I said, it feels like it's always sat here. It feels like it's always been here. It doesn't feel like there were ever go-karts in this location. The path coming around this way will all make sense in the future, but let me let you in on a secret for next week. So obviously I've already asked for your input. If you were where is it? Where is it gone? It's here. Oh, I know why. It's because I've turned rides off. There we go. I was like, oh my god, have I deleted it accidentally? So I've already asked you for themes. You will recognise the layout. It's the rejected layout that I was going to use in Fastastica, and it fits quite nicely into this space. So that's what we're working with next week. Please let me know what theme we should use, because I literally don't have a clue, and I'm going into the episode blind, so I could do with some inspiration, please, guys. There we go. Thank you, guys, as always, for getting to the end of the episode. I really do appreciate it. There's a Jurassic World Evolution 3 affiliate link if you do want to support the channel and buy the game. I'll leave that either in the description or the comments. Thank you so much if you have already used the link. I really, really do appreciate it. It really absolutely helps. So have yourselves a good time. I will see you for the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.